It starts at 6:30 a.m. The alarm screams, and for a split second, you don't remember who you are. Then, the reality downloads into your brain. The commute, the job, the debt, the exhaustion. You drink your coffee to simulate energy you don't actually have. You tell yourself that this fatigue is temporary, that you just need a vacation, that you just need to sleep more on the weekend. But you are lying to yourself. This exhaustion is not a bug, it is a feature. The system requires you to be tired, because a fully rested human being has the energy to question the walls around them. You think you are climbing a ladder? No. You are just powering the machine that keeps you trapped. Have you ever watched a predator in the wild? A wolf or a lion? They spend most of their time conserving energy. They observe, they calculate. When they move with explosive purpose. They are masters of their environment. Now look at a dog in a suburban backyard. It barks at nothing. It chases its own tail. It waits by the door for its owner to come home and feed it. It is neurotic, anxious, and entirely dependent. The difference between the wolf and the dog is not genetics. It is conditioning. You were born a wolf. You were born with curiosity, with a drive to explore, with a natural instinct to create and to hunt for your own survival. Look at any child before they enter the school system. They are relentless. They ask why 1,000 times a day. They have no concept of a work schedule. But society cannot function if everyone is a wolf. The industrial machine does not need hunters. It needs oxen. It needs battery hens. It needs predictable, docile components that will perform repetitive tasks for 40 years without causing trouble. So, the domestication process begins. We call it education. We take these energetic, chaotic, creative children and we put them in a room. We force them to sit in rows like products on a shelf. We teach them that their natural impulses to move, to speak, to play are bad behavior. We teach them that the only thing that matters is the bell. When the bell rings, you sit. When the bell rings, you eat. When the bell rings, you can go home. Does that sound like learning? Or does that sound like factory training? For 12 years, you are conditioned to believe that your worth is determined by your ability to follow instructions. You are graded on compliance, not creativity. You are taught that there is one right answer, and it is in the back of the teacher's book. This is not accidental. This is the breaking of the will. By the time you graduate, the wolf is dead. You have been successfully rewired to fear uncertainty. You have been trained to dread making a mistake. You have been taught that the most terrifying thing in the world is not slavery, but instability. You leave school terrified of the wild. You are desperate for a leash. And the moment you sign that employment contract, you feel a wave of relief. The cage feels safe because you have forgotten how to hunt. Once the domestication is complete, the system needs to maintain it. The primary method of control is not violence. It is exhaustion. Have you ever wondered why the 8-hour workday is still the standard? 100 years ago, in the age of factories, 8 hours was a physical necessity. But today, with technology, automation, and AI, we are exponentially more productive than our ancestors. Logically, we should be working 20 hours a week. We should be drowning in free time. But we aren't. In fact, We are working more. Why? Because free time is dangerous. If you had 6 hours of free energy every single day, what would you do? You might start a business. You might organize a community. You might read philosophy, or learn to grow your own food, or realize that you don't actually need the corporation to survive. A person with time and energy is a variable that the system cannot control. So the cage is designed to consume exactly as much energy as you can produce. The modern workday is not structured around productivity. It is structured around containment. It is designed to leave you with nothing but a residue of life at the end of the day. Think about your average evening. You get home. You are physically present, but mentally you are a ghost. You don't have the bandwidth to create art or build a future. You only have the bandwidth to consume. You collapse onto the couch. You turn on the screen. You scroll. You numb yourself. This is the evening coma. It is a state of suspended animation where you are technically alive, but functionally useless to yourself. This is not a failure of your time management. It is a successful execution of the system's programming. They want you tired. They want you just stressed enough to keep working, but too exhausted to look for an exit. They want you sedated by fatigue, because a tired population is a docile population. A tired man does not revolt. He just wants to sleep. Your exhaustion is the walls of your prison. And every time you say, "I'm too tired to work on my own project," the lock clicks tighter. If exhaustion is the stick, then we must talk about the carrot. Why do we stay in the cage? Why do we walk back into the office every Monday morning? Because the cage is comfortable. We have padded the walls with velvet. This is the trap of the golden handcuffs. The system knows that if the misery is absolute, you will eventually snap and bite the hand that feeds you. So it doesn't starve you. It overfeeds you. But it feeds you junk. We live in a cycle of compensatory consumption. You sell your time, your actual limited life force, in exchange for currency. But the work hurts. It is boring or degrading or meaningless. It creates a void in your soul. So you take that currency and you try to fill the void. You buy a new phone. You buy a nicer car to drive to the job you hate. You buy expensive cocktails on Friday night to wash away the taste of the week. You buy brand-name clothes to wear to the office so you can feel important while you are being exploited. This is the dopamine trough. Like livestock, we lower our heads and eat the slop they pour in front of us. Look, the system says. Look at this shiny toy. Look at this subscription service. Look at this comfort. And for a moment, the dopamine hits. You feel a brief spark of happiness, but it never lasts. It is empty calories for the spirit. The car gets scratched. The phone becomes outdated. The clothes go out of style. The void opens up again, wider than before. So you have to go back to work to get more money, to buy more things, to fix the hole that the work created. It is a perfect, closed loop. You are funding your own imprisonment. Debt is the final lock. Debt turns the cage into a moral obligation. Once you owe money for the house, the car, and the lifestyle, you are no longer just an employee. You are an indentured servant. You cannot leave. You have surrendered your future to pay for the comforts of your present. You look at the wild, at the uncertainty of freedom, and it looks terrifying. You look at your golden handcuffs, and they look shiny. They look safe, and you tell yourself, "At least I'm doing well." But a well-fed dog in a golden kennel is still just a dog. So, is the solution to burn it all down? Do you walk into your boss's office tomorrow, flip the desk, and quit? No. That is what a child does. That is a tantrum. If you quit without a plan, you will starve, and a starving wolf is easily trapped again. The solution is not immediate rebellion. The solution is becoming a double agent. You must remain in the cage physically, but you must leave it mentally. This is the strategy of the silent exit. First, you must reclaim your energy. Stop giving the system 110%. The corporation is not your family. It is a transaction. Give them exactly what they pay for, competence and labor, but do not give them your soul. Do not give them your anxiety. Do not take the stress home with you. This is not quiet quitting because you are lazy. It is strategic conservation. You are stealing back your own electricity. Second, you must redefine money. Stop looking at your paycheck as vouchers for consumption. Stop seeing money as a way to buy better food for your cage. Start seeing money as ammunition. Every dollar you save, every debt you pay off, is a bar removed from the window. Money is not for status. Money is for leverage. Money is the ability to say no. When you have 6 months of expenses in the bank, your boss's voice changes frequency. You no longer hear a master commanding a servant. You hear a negotiation between equals. Use the system's resources to build your own lifeboat. Learn skills on their time. Build your network on their dime. Use the stability of the cage to plan your escape into the wild. This requires patience. It requires the discipline of a predator lying in wait. You are no longer a mindless employee running in a wheel. You are a spy in enemy territory, plotting your extraction. The tragedy of the modern zoo is that most of the cages don't even have locks anymore. The animals stay because they have forgotten what is outside. They stay because they are afraid that if they leave, they won't find food. They are afraid of the cold. They are afraid of the silence of the forest. The system relies on your fear of the unknown. It tells you that freedom is dangerous. It tells you that you will fail. But ask yourself, is the danger of freedom worse than the certainty of a slow, comfortable death? You have been running in this wheel for years. You are sweating. You are exhausted. You are burning alive. And where have you arrived? Nowhere. You are in the exact same spot. Stop running. Step off the wheel. The door is open. The only thing keeping you inside is you. Look at the door today. Ask yourself, are you safe or are you just domesticated? Do not fear the cold of the wild. Fear the warmth of the slaughterhouse. The cage is not your home. It is your coffin. We dismantle the prison to free the mind. Subscribe if you are ready to stop running and start hunting.